Hello, hello. Oh goddamn. Why is my camera not working right now? Huh. Come on, sir. Hi. We're never gonna get like a smooth entry onto the stream. Hi. Welcome on the stream, everyone. I'm very sorry for the lack of streaming yesterday. Your girlie was really tired. And today I am really tired as well, but I have a lot of shit to get done. So we're gonna work on all of that right now. For context. So, I am planning on streaming until about 11. So that should be about 3 pomodoros, I hope. And I have a lot of schoolwork to get done. I'm actually going to open my checklist. Because I made a tiny checklist of things that I need to do. So, first and foremost, I have a new class tomorrow that I have to prepare for, so I'm going to be taking care of that. That's going to be my first thing, and it's about an hour worth of class. So I need to define how I'm going to evaluate them, what modules they're going to, how many hours we have, all of that. And I'm also going to have to make a PowerPoint to present to them. I would like to spend a bit more time trying to organize my calendar, but this class is tomorrow afternoon. I want to have it done and get it ready as soon as I can. So, if everything goes right, in about 2 pomodoros, that should be very much taken care of. And then I'm going to start working on summaries and prepare summaries per subject and what each class is going to be, basically, so that when I am teaching, it's a bit easier to decide on what I'm going to tell students we're going to do, what I'm going to put in the system, and overall save myself some time. You want to say hi to the stream, baby?
Hi, Chad.
I don't know if they heard you.
Oh,
It's kind of scary. Erin is home. I decided to delay stream a little bit. Please don't dab on stream. I decided to delay stream a little bit so that we could have dinner together. Alex is playing a crab called Pinchalot. Oh my god. We decided to have dinner today together. Since this week he's arriving later, so I decided to delay stream. We're probably gonna delay stream. No, we're probably not gonna delay stream on Friday actually. So forget about that. Forget that I was gonna say that. And yeah, that's about it. That's what we're gonna do. I hope whoever is on stream and has the time to also get some stuff done. If not, you can just enjoy the game music, witness me work, and feel a bit better about yourself as you rest. And will you join me? What are your tasks for today? Come here, because chat cannot hear you.
I need to take care of tomorrow's TikTok screen for the stream.
Check if the guild has not been banned from TikTok Live, like I have. I was suspended. Because apparently my content does not respect their stuff. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, that's also why we're not streaming on TikTok right now. But it's fine. I can manage. I hope the guild did not get, like, hit by it, though. But anyways, are you guys ready? I hope you're ready, because I'm about to start. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. I forgot to turn something off on the counters. Yeah? Yes. Yeah? See?
Hello.
Hi. little break now. I actually was smart, and I managed to find a way so that I don't really have to prepare that much for my class tomorrow, and instead I just need to prepare for Thursday, because by figuring out the evaluation methods for them, I ended up saving myself time for tomorrow. It would also be very wacky to kick off tomorrow with actual presentation, because we only have an hour together. So instead, I'm just gonna use up things differently, basically. I'm also doing everything through Notion this time around, in planning and stuff, in hopes that it does help me stay a bit more organized and on track. So since I took care of what I had to do for my 12th grade and my 10th grade, now I'm just preparing the summaries for my 12th grade, so I can decide what I'm gonna do for the next 5 classes. I think it's 5 hours that I have this week. No. It's only 4. It's only 4, actually. Let me check. I'm gonna recheck their schedule. No, it is 5. It's 5. I must have done something wrong here. Let me check my 12th grade. My 11th grade, actually. Oh. Wait. Hi. I think my schedule got wrong. I don't think it accounts for me having lunch. I think my schedule does not account for me having lunch.
It should.
It does not.
It's a very important part of.
I can eat lunch really quickly. I mean, can I eat lunch really quickly? Is that the cook? Is that a rapist behind you? Holy shit, no. That's my partner. How am I gonna do this? Is he a cook? No. That's also terribly inappropriate to say while jumping on a stream. Just saying. Are you sure? 100%. Thanks, love fool, right? Okay. I'm not gonna read that out loud. Because I'm not a Portuguese. I'm not a Portuguese, I'm not an English speaking person. I call out to my mod. Hmm? Do you have permissions for that? Did you do it for both? Thank you, guys. That was really weird. Wasn't it? Very strange. Oh well. I never got that kind of spammers. Yeah, I just noticed I don't have lunch. I will need... Like, how am I gonna... I'm gonna do 4 hours in a row? I can figure that out, but holy, that was not... Okay, 5 hours, that is. Okay. I think I can find a way to have lunch quickly. Yeah, and we have lunches that I can eat very quickly. So I might just do, like, some breaks. Oh, I closed the counter accidentally. Okay. Yeah. Did you get banned from TikTok?
Oh,
You should check that. Se tu consegues ver se tentares abrir o chat. Wait, I'm gonna show you. service would, yes.
Ah.
A to. Signal pitch Deze committee, dus ik kan ze zo dat. Kan ze zeggen. Yep.
What you thought then?
Yeah. I think it's probably either the music or as the talk.
Would be the music.
Yeah.
The music is which is
Yeah, it shouldn't be the music, but my Twitch VODs keep getting muted even though I'm using copyright free for music for streams. So yeah, there's that. You know what we can try though? YouTube Shorts. For streaming. You can stream onto YouTube Shorts. You can. Try it. You also didn't think TikTok was worth it, and then you streamed it and you got... Oh. But you can also stream onto YouTube Shorts. You're gonna, like, are you outright gonna tell me, like, oh, we have all of these overlays, so now everything is gonna be useless? I'm giving you a chance to try something else.
Como dizer?
Hum?
Como dizer?
Do YouTube. Não sei dizer, tens de perceber, mas eu sei que dá. Eu acredito que o segundo será vertical. Tens de tentar perceber, amor. Não sei dizer.
Minha televisão.
Então, tens de perceber, amor, como é que se faz. Eu não sei dizer, eu nunca fiz. Porquê é que estás a olhar para mim a pedir ajuda para uma coisa que eu nunca fiz na vida enquanto estou a trabalhar para a escola? Thank you. Hi. Is this Italian or Spanish? Neither. Portuguese. Is Portugal or Brazil? Portugal. Portuguese from Portugal. I thought Brazilians spoke Portuguese too. They do. They do speak Portuguese from Brazil. It's basically the same Portuguese, but it has different accent and a different like phrasing structure than we do. That's the difference. But I do speak Portuguese from Portugal. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yes. Do Brazilians say they speak Portuguese or do they say they speak Brazilian? Actually, a bit of both. I think they mostly say they speak Portuguese, but a lot of Portuguese people in sort of a negative light will say that Brazilian people speak Brazilian instead of Portuguese. Yeah, a bit like a degrading thing. A lot of Portuguese people do not see Brazilian people in their really good light, which sucks. Unfortunately. Why is that? I think it's a matter of people being racist, xenophobes, and overall Portugal like colonized all of these countries, and although Brazil was the one that was left on the earliest, it's been almost 6 centuries that happened. People still look at it as if they had control of these people. It's kind of interesting. It's really weird how can such two countries who are very far away speak the same language. Yeah, think of it like how a good chunk of the world speaks English because of the colonies. I think for me the craziest thing is that Brazil has such a big impact into the world that Portuguese is separated as Portuguese from Portugal and Portuguese from Brazil when you are installing programs. Yeah, UK and the USA is the same, but in English. Yeah, but under very different matters, I'd say. Because while Brazilian people do still have basically their heritage from when like Portuguese came on. So what makes the majority of the Brazilian population are people that are descendants of the ones that were already there before we came in. The US is different because the US are basically Brits that went against themselves for independence. They were not there to begin with. They were not Americans to begin with. They just kept the same language because it's the language they always had. While Brazilian people changed their language because the Portuguese colonized them and they had to learn it. Does it make sense? Oh shit, so Portugal colonized Brazil. I didn't know that. Yeah, we did. Portugal colonized Brazil, Angola, Mozambique, Timor, and many other countries in Africa, and some other territories in Asia. It was, but for a long time, the largest empire in the world, when the world was only divided by Portugal and Spain. Portuguese empire was much more vast, and then it was that a mosquito. Oh. And then with the separation of Africa, basically Africa was divided by the rich, keeping in mind who was the richest at the time, which led to basically the UK, Holland, actually the Netherlands and Germany to get into Africa. Because they had no territories in Africa at the time. With the separation of Africa, they got access to that, and Portugal was basically kicked out of multiple locations. So yeah, and the history of colonization, although for Brazil it was very early on, I think it was during the French invasions, so it wasn't even 6 centuries like I said, but perhaps I think it's about 2 to 3 centuries. The rest of the colonies were only like abandoned last century, about around the 70s, and one of them was only abandoned in this century even. So there is a very sour taste for the people that were part of the movement, and they believed they were entitled to own colonies. So there's also all of that. Are you a history teacher? I am. I'm a art history teacher, so not a precisely history, but I do deal with history. I'm actually working on history classes right now. And I'm gonna be teaching my students basically to kick off the 20th century this week, so I'm actually preparing that right now. You're so fucking good at explaining. Oh, thank you. I'm grateful that's the case. I believe my students would argue, though. I drifted. I do really enjoy history. It's one of my favorite classes, and I'm incredibly happy to be teaching it to these students as well. What did you mean by art history? So instead of me focusing on geopolitical events and economical events, I focus on art's evolution. So what happened in this period and how did it influence the arts? What kind of art styles happen? How did the art impact the world? That's my focus. The 20th century is really important for art specifically because in the early 20th century, you have an explosion of art styles as a consequence, a direct consequence from photography. So people lose the interest in portraying people realistically, so they start doing other things, and that's when you start getting the very strange artwork like Cubism, like Pablo Picasso, surrealism, and things like that. That's a consequence of it. And not only that, it's when cinema kicks in, and when you get a very, very big evolution in television, the concept of screenwriting, actors, and all of that. So that's, I believe, the major focus. In all of that, though, I do need to include the concept of the two world wars, as well as the divide that happens between the United States and the Soviet Union. I need to explore all of that with them. How does that influence art? How is art in the US? How is art in Russia? And how does the world behave around art? Is art relevant? Not really, but it's used. It's also because of Second World War and Nazism, mostly, it's also the time where art becomes market, and it's the introduction of art as propaganda and how art can be used to portray and defend political experiences. So that's also something that I'm gonna need to touch on with them. For context, by the way, I teach professional courses instead of like common history classes. I wish I could attend your class. But oh my god, since you mentioned Pablo Picasso, can you please explain his quote where he said, "Good artists copy and great artists steal"? This quote changed my life. I can actually try and explain it from an artist's perspective. So, by the way, break time for anyone that was working. For context, when you work on artwork and you're trying to decide what to do next, it's always very heavily proposed to you that you work from references. So if you're meant to work from references, you do not, the idea is not that you find pictures of something and you copy them straight up onto your artwork, but more that you learn them and you apply them under your own work. So, or at least the thesis that is defended when he said something along those lines, it's not that you steal them as a way to own them and control it beyond the other artist, but more that you work from the concept and understanding of something, and you know it so well that it becomes part of you. That's what stealing is in this. While copying is just observing and without any sort of substance putting it on paper. It's the idea that we must inspire ourselves in other people's work as a way to learn and move from it. For context as well on this guy, Picasso was a prodigy. He painted incredible paintings at the age of 13. Paintings that a lot of artists could not even dream of at its age. You know? So this person grew up painting oil paints with full control and used his form of inspiration to start doing something else entirely. I think you can argue that he was a genius. He was also not a great piss. A lot of very big influential figures in art, especially in the 20th century, are not great people. Picasso was one of them. He was not a good person to work with. He was a predator in a way, especially for his models. So, why is that? Pablo Picasso is described as being very temperamental and explosive. What do you mean predator? Well, I don't want to speak words out loud because I don't want my stream to be banned, but let's say that there's many registers of him taking advantage of his own models while they were nude for paintings, which is very problematic. But since Picasso was a man of power, very well known, not exactly human trafficking. He didn't get that far. He didn't go into organized crime. He was more just a person that would hire models and then do non-consensual things while they were there. Multiple times with different women. And none of them really liked it. It's also one of those things that, unfortunately, it's also not a time where any of these women would get anything out of it. Same thing with Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali was even more disturbing. I think I'm saying this right. I think Picasso was one as well. That was really weird. He described women a lot more like objects. It was strange, but Dali is another thing. If his artwork is deranged in a way. No, not exactly. Simply because there is actually no like transaction related to it or an exchange in that sense. So these women only were with him like for this session, and then it kind of would close off. This era is strange in a lot of things. It's very much about a time where you have to look more into the art rather than the people. Oh, thank you for the follow, by the way. It's very... I'm not saying this, though, as if there was no interesting, good artists in the midst of all of this, by the way. There are interesting, good artists in the midst of all of this story. Especially in early Germany, you get very, very interesting explorations of art and literature and music from people that literally their focus was just basically art and music and literature. So you just have two big names that are a bit more questionable in their regards of you as human beings. But this is as everything. We as artists spend a lot of time looking into the classical era that is often described as the how would I see it? Like the maximum point of art when it comes to technique and all of that. And, well, we know that Michelangelo was a, like, really, really rude person. We know that Raphael was a very, like, womanizer, basically, but also very gentle. And then we get that Da Vinci was just an introverted shell that didn't really like to hang out with anyone, just wanted to do his own thing. We know that Caravaggio was honestly a very terrible person. The more we look into it, there's things that bleed into art that we can tell. And as a history teacher, there's plenty to observe, but as a person, there's plenty to deny. Who's your favorite from that era? It's complex because that's not my favorite era. But I would probably say Da Vinci of the three. I really like Da Vinci, and I do really like a Raphael. I do... Also, did you draw all your art on screen? On screen? I did, yes. That's my portfolio on rotation, by the way. I usually do, or I used to do mostly streams drawing, but time has been cut short, and I need to do other things as well, so I'm using stream to do it. Yeah, I would say Da Vinci is probably... I think the thing about Da Vinci is how symbolic his artwork is. There's plenty of things that are beyond anything else that I've ever witnessed, and the more we look into it, the more information there is. But Renaissance is not my favorite era of art, I would say. So there's also that. I would also say, for context as well, my favorite era, for painting specifically, would be Romantism. I don't know if that's how you... Because it's not the same as Romance painting, I think. Let me check if that actually translates to Romance painting. Romanticism? Romanticism. Yeah, okay. Romanticism is indeed my favorite, with men walking over fog, or watching over the fog. I don't, like, there's so many ways to name this artwork, but that's my favorite for, like, history purposes and history classes. That's the one that I love the most. And then for architecture, I would say Hochheil, which is the, like, soft pastels, beautiful gold decorations with paintings in the ceilings that remind you of the sky. What's Romanticism exactly? Romanticism is like an escapism art style that comes in as a way to ignore industrialization. So artists moved away from the cities that were starting to get very hectic and went back to the land, to the fields. It's an art style or a movement that has most weight in Central Europe, like Germany, Netherlands, France a bit, as well as the UK. While in the UK it focuses around the gardens that are very landscape and organic-like. In Central Europe it focuses around fairy tale-like castles, beautiful and melancholic landscapes, things of that sort. And it's like it's a style that weighs on melancholia and nostalgia mostly, and the sense that we as humans are nothing without nature, and that nature overpowers us like every step we take. That's what romanticism is about and how it works in painting. So for an example of how these paintings kind of look like, we're speaking of decrepit landscapes, dead trees, or fog. We're speaking of very beautiful, dreamy like lakes, things of that sort. That's how, and it's also like one of the movements that focuses the most around organic shapes and landscapes. And then Hokkaido is literally, oh my god, I think I'm into that too. I would advise you to actually search and see some of the artworks if it shows up, because if it is something that you enjoy, it might be kind of a treat to look at. What about just dropping it here? Thank you for dropping my card. And then for Hokkaido, it's for a very quick explanation of what Hokkaido is. I need to center you in Renaissance and Baroque. Renaissance is classicism, where everyone is cold-hearted and logical. Baroque is when everyone says, fuck off, we're great, we're gonna dance and drink. We're horrified of death, but it's the horror of death that allows us to be alive. Life is a theater, and I'm enjoying my play, and I must perform. And then, all of that kind of reaches the end with a group of people going with, we can just enjoy life, there is no guilt associated with it, and we're just gonna do parties and be sensual and erotic in front of everyone because nobody cares. And so Rokaila comes in, and it's just, we're just gonna dress pretty because we can dress pretty, and I'm gonna decorate this hall because I can decorate this hall. So the paintings are about beautiful women and men, about flirting, about tea parties, about, oh my god, this woman is naked, kind of thing. And then the architecture is mostly light, very warm and welcoming, ball-like rooms, mirrors everywhere, beautiful skies to make you feel like you're outside while you're inside, sun rays, yeah. And the architecture does come in as very illuminated, which is the thing that I love the most about it. It's also one of the architecture styles that invite the most into mix and matching materials, including things like orange rocks or green rock, colorful items and materials to make the space feel more alive and eclectic, but also not only invites to that, but it also invites to the use of fake materials by using woods that you paint and color in like that, basically. So that is the style that grabs me the most into it. And then there is sculpture. And for sculpture, Baroque is my superior calling. It's some of the most beautiful things that we might ever get to see. Let me see if I can, because I'm not recalling exactly the sculpture. I think it's Bernini. It is Bernini. Bernini is a master when it comes to sculptures, and he came in with some of the most beautifully detailed and careful sculptures, some of the most emotional sculptures that make me feel like, wow, I never thought this was possible to put onto stone. kind of like that. Advise you to check it out if you're interested into it, because it's totally like mind-blowing in that concept. This is kind of, as an artist myself and also a teacher for multimedia students, which are people that do work with the visual arts, this kind of history is so relevant to create this sort of... Just checks this. Your art is honestly beautiful. Thank you so much. I feel like I haven't been able to dedicate enough time into it. But as I was always saying, if you're in this field, arts history is so good, because you just look into these people and the way they do things inspires you and teaches you how to do things as well. What software you use? I work with Procreate mostly right now, but I also use Clip Studio Paint from some time on. I usually work on my iPad. I have, I believe, an iPad 10, a normal one. An iPad 10, and I have one Apple Pencil and Procreate on it. And then when I want to work on my computer, I do use Clip Studio Paint that I got a couple of years ago for actually college. So yeah, that's how I do things the most. I usually stream art on Sundays. If you'd be interested in seeing it, by the way, Sunday nights, it's the day that I'm allocating for art streaming. And I've been working mostly on commissions as of late, because I do have some commission work to get done. And that should be actually the rule for this Sunday's commission work. Yeah, I should have a half-body simplified artwork to make for a project that I've been basically hammering down for a while. Yeah. I do think I've gotten a good chunk of work done today. I've decided all the summaries, I've decided all the evaluation methods, I've set up the presentation for tomorrow. I've also set up a couple of other things. I can do at least the summaries for something else. Because I have more classes tomorrow that do need more summaries. Have a great stream. I really enjoyed talking to you and I'm learning through you. I hope I can watch you again and learn more. It was fun. I'm so grateful you enjoyed it. I hope you come along again, by the way. Really nice to share all of this information with someone else. Thank you so much. She's live on Sunday, Mondays, and Fridays. Feel free to stop by. Yes, feel free to stop by anytime. I'm so sorry, guys. You tell me. When? What do you want me to tell you? How do I roleplay as an apple pie? I have no idea, sir. I'm sorry, I do not have the means to... I do not have the knowledge. You just stay there and look places. I don't know, bro. I genuinely do not know. I could bed well, like, say, what did he do? You can drop in and listen to the chaos. I wish I could show you guys what I'm doing, but I can't.
Whenever you're finished, you can come up for air.
And, what is your name?
Oh, I'll tell
Mm. So I have a few PowerPoints missing from here.
What's your name, cowboy?
Random hangout moment, yes. He just casually shows up on stream. So... 2... to here. Excuse me. It's one of the shortest. That is the timer. Well, keeping in mind that we did indeed 3 Pomodoros, although I was a bit distracted on 2 of those, I did get a lot of things done. I managed to prepare my 2 classes for tomorrow. I have all the items ready to be printed, whatever I need to print. I have my Notion set up with my summaries to put onto the system for the entire week, which is great. And yeah, I'm just gonna be updating this throughout the week. Tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be working on the PowerPoint that I need to present to my students on Thursday. And yeah, that's gonna be about it. Well, I think I gotta go then, because your girl is waking up early tomorrow and she needs time to rest. So that's gonna be the end of the stream for today. I know it's a mature stream than usual, but we gotta do what we gotta do. Hopefully I'll be back on Friday with the cartographer stream, which should kick off at 9 p.m. as usual. And we're just gonna have fun and read. For anyone that hasn't come in during our stream last week, we're reading Dracula by Bram Stoker. And I was able to read all the way to chapter 4. So we're starting on chapter 4. Might as well take my time to show you my cute bookmark because I'm absolutely in love with it. I will do my best to save up my voice until Friday so that I can read another 3 chapters. And Aaron from the guild, aka the person that is standing right here, he is gonna be working on some maps on the guild. If by any means you're a person that is interested in D&D and other sorts of TTRPG games, tomorrow I'll be sitting down with the guild to play Imperium. It's been quite a bit. And I will be back with my girlie Veronica as we try not to die. So if you want to check that out, you can check it out through the guild's D&D Club Twitch channel, as well as on YouTube and Kick. We have accounts everywhere as well. So if you're into for some D&D action, feel free to join us there, and we're just gonna have a blast. Now, without further ado, let's get to sleep, guys. You know you also deserve to rest. I need to rest. Tomorrow I just collapsed in bed after a while, and I'm hoping that I go through the same experience today. So, thank you all so much for coming in. Should I raid someone? Maybe I should raid someone. Let's see. Let's see if I find someone to raid. There is someone streaming that I really like their streams. Should we raid them? I'm considering reading Pedin, which I absolutely love. I think we're gonna do that actually. Let's read Perrin. Here. Yeah. Let's raid her. See you guys. Thank you so much, and I hope you go and show her some love. Bye!